Okay, what if we could actually stop death? I'm not talking about some far-off sci-fi future, but within our lifetime, maybe even within this decade. It sounds absolutely impossible, right? But one of the world's leading futurists has literally put a date on it. So today, we're going to break down this incredible prediction that humanity will achieve immortality by the year 2030.
The generation alive today might be the first to opt out of death. I mean, just let that sink in. This incredibly bold claim comes from futurist and former Google engineer Ray Kurzweil. And he's not just talking about, living a little longer. He's talking about making death itself optional. It sounds like pure science fiction. So let's unpack the roadmap he's actually laid out to get us there.
All right, to really get our heads around this, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the claim itself, immortality by 2030. Then, the big one, how is this even possible? We'll dig into rewriting our biology and merging with AI. But, can we trust the source? We're going to check his track record. And finally, if this actually happens, what does it mean for us? We'll explore the real price of forever.
So let's start with that central claim. This is not some vague, someday kind of prediction. Kurzweil has put a pen on the calendar for what could be a monumental turning point for our entire species.
2030. Seriously, let that sink in for a second. That's just a few years away. He is proposing a future where our bodies no longer have to break down and die. Which leads to the obvious question, how? The how really starts with completely changing how we think about aging. To even have a shot at immortality, we first have to figure out how to rewrite our own biology.
The key concept here is something called longevity escape velocity. Think of it like a race. Right now, for every year you live, you get 1 year older. You can't win. But what if science could add more than a year to your life for every single year that goes by? You'd literally be outrunning death. And that's the goal.
Now, this requires a pretty radical way of looking at the problem. Kurzweil argues that aging isn't some fundamental law of nature we have to accept. No, he says it's more like a faulty piece of code in our biological software. And if aging is just a bug, well, bugs can be patched.
So if our bodies are basically biological computers with a few glitches, what are the tools we need to fix them? The answer takes us from biology straight into technology.
The proposed solution is nanotech. I want you to imagine billions of microscopic robots, nanobots, cruising through your bloodstream. Their job would be a three-part mission. First, repair your aging cells and fix damaged DNA on the fly. Second, hunt down and destroy diseases like cancer and any other bad guys the moment they show up. And third, optimize your body, keeping your hormones and nutrients perfectly balanced to keep you in a state of, perpetual youth.
But get this, stopping biological aging is just stage one. The next phase is where things get even more wild, because it combines our new biology with the insane growth of artificial intelligence. This is where humanity really transforms.
This timeline shows you just how quickly things are predicted to ramp up. Just 1 year before we supposedly hit immortality, in 2029, an AI is expected to pass the Turing test, meaning it'll be indistinguishable from a human. So once we have human-level AI and bodies that don't die, the stage is set for the next giant leap, the Singularity.
The Singularity, which he predicts for 2045, is that moment when technology starts improving itself at a rate so fast it's just beyond our ability to comprehend. It's a true event horizon for human history. After that point, the world will be fundamentally, completely unrecognizable.
So what does that mean for you and me? Well, it could mean connecting our brains directly to a cloud-based AI, expanding our intelligence not just a little bit, but a billion-fold. It could also lead to a second kind of immortality, digital immortality. By uploading our consciousness, our identities could exist forever, totally separate from our physical bodies.
Okay, at this point, I know exactly what you're probably thinking. This all sounds completely detached from reality, right? Like, way out there. But before we just dismiss it all, we really have to look at the guy making these predictions.
It is a totally fair question. Is this just the wild dreams of some tech optimist, or is there a solid foundation for taking these claims seriously? Well, let's actually look at the data.
You see, Kurzweil has this long history of making some startlingly accurate predictions. Back in 1990, he said a computer would beat the world chess champion by the year 2000. It happened 3 years early, in 97. He also predicted the rise of portable computers, smartphones, and the explosion of the internet, all stuff we just take for granted now.
So what does his overall track record actually look like? Well, it's a staggering 86% accuracy rate on his technological predictions. Let's put that in context.
A really detailed analysis found that
out of 147 predictions he made for the period leading up to 2010, 115 of them were entirely correct. This isn't just random guesswork. It's a model for predicting the future that seems to actually work. So, if he's right about this, what happens next?
Okay, so if we accept that this future isn't just possible, but maybe even probable, we have to face the enormous consequences. This isn't just a scientific breakthrough, it's a societal one, and it comes with some profound ethical dilemmas.
The first and, let's be honest, most obvious question is about access. If eternal life comes with a massive price tag, will it create the ultimate divide in humanity? A new class of immortal elites and a mortal majority just left behind to die?
And then there's the simple, kind of brutal logistics of it all. Our planet is already straining to support the number of people we have. What happens when we take death out of the equation? How do we possibly manage resources, space, and the environment when the population only ever goes up?
And this is where it gets even more philosophical, and frankly, a little weird. If you can upload your mind to a computer, and that file can be copied, which one is the real you? Does the original biological you have to die for the digital one to count? It challenges the very definition of what a self even is.
And all of this brings us to the final and maybe the most profound question of all. For all of human history, our lives have been shaped by their limits. Our choices, our art, our relationships, it's all given meaning by the fact that our time is finite. So, what happens to the human experience when the clock stops ticking for good?